الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أرسله بالحق بشيرا ونذيرا بين يدي الساعة من يطع الله ورسوله فقد رشد واهتدى ومن يعصهما فإنه قد غوى وإنه لا يضر إلا نفسه ولا يضر الله شيئا. أما بعد قال الله تعالى في القرآن المجيد: أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون أياما معدودات. صدق الله العظيم. We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the hidayah to Islam. We thank Him for Yawm al-Jum'ah and the Shahr Ramadan that we are in. But this is the day, it probably is the last Friday, the Jum'ah of the Ramadan, which is called Jum'atul Wada', because according to all the estimation, the next Jum'ah is going to be the Eid al-Fitr, al-Mubarak. So therefore, in the short time of Khutbah that we have, we like to do some reflection upon the month of Ramadan that we had, and now it is leaving us. We have maybe 5 or 6 days left. This month, the day of Jum'atul Wada' is the day of reflecting upon the purpose of Ramadan, why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made obligatory upon the Ummah and individual Muslims to observe the month of Ramadan. And we know from the ayat which have been recited by us and by our scholars again and again and explained to us in the Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 183, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions the purpose of Ramadan. يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون. That, O believers, we made the fasting obligatory upon you like it was done before you, so that you become muttaqun. This the conscious of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's presence and responsibility before Him on the Day of Judgment. The word taqwa has been explained by the scholars in many different words, but I like this by Shaykh Abdul Aziz bin Abdullah ibn Baz, rahimahullah, who was the Grand Mufti of Saudi Arabia, passed away. May Allah give him Jannah, high place in Jannah, inshallah. And he said, إن التقوى كلمة جامعة تجمع الخير كله. The taqwa is a word which is a very comprehensive word. It includes all that is good. And وحقيقتها أداء ما أوجب الله, and its truth is to fulfill the obligation which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has placed upon us. And it is to be done with sincerity, and we are to refrain from what is haram, what is forbidden, and we are to do this with sincerity and hub and raghba fi thawabahu wal hazr min iqabah. So we should have the eagerness to attain the reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we should have fear of His punishment. This is the very nice, beautiful definition of taqwa. The taqwa means all goodness, and we should fulfill it with the love of Allah and the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and to refrain from what is forbidden. So this day of Jum'atul Wada' is the day that we remind ourselves the real purpose of taqwa, the real purpose of Ramadan. And Ramadan gives us tarbiyah in these 29 days to develop in us that sense of consciousness before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so that we have that love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we have that closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that we are eager to do what He has recommended and what He has commanded to us, and we refrain from what He has forbidden with the fear of His chastisement and His punishment on the Day of Judgment. So if we have been able to develop and strengthen our taqwa in Ramadan, then we should express our shukr to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on this day and the rest of the year. So therefore, this Jum'atul Wada is also the day of shukr to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, Surah An-Naml, verse number 40, وَمَنْ شَكَرَ فَإِنَّمَا يَشْكُرُ لِنَفْسِهِ وَمَنْ كَفَرَ فَإِنَّ رَبِّي غَنِيٌّ كَرِيمٌ. If somebody shows gratefulness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then that is for his own soul, that's for his own self. But if somebody is ungrateful, then my Rabb, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is free of all needs. He don't need our thankfulness. He doesn't need our ibadah, our worship, in order to maintain His lordship. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is praiseworthy without anybody praising Him. He is supreme without anybody submitting to Him. But it is for our own benefit, it is for our own good, that we do the ibadah of Allah and we express our shukr and thankfulness to Him. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also promises that those who express shukr and thankfulness, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then increases their taqwa, their righteousness, and their rewards. And Surah Ibrahim, verse number 7, it is stated, وَإِذْ تَأَذَّنَ رَبُّكُمْ لَإِنْ شَكَرْتُمْ لَأَزِيدَنَّكُمْ وَلَإِنْ كَفَرْتُمْ إِنَّ عَذَابِي لَشَدِيدٌ. And remember your Lord, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that He is to be praised. And this should be declared. If you are grateful, then Allah will add His favors to you. He will increase His favors to you. But if you show ingratitude, then truly His punishment is terrible indeed. So therefore, as we show thankfulness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the month of Ramadan and for the ibadat that He allowed us to do and the goodness we were able to do, then His rewards and His ajr and sawab and His guidance to us is further enhanced and is increased. The hadith reported Ibn Abbas radiallahu ta'ala anhu in the book of Bayhaqi, in which he states, Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, whoever has attained 4 things, he has attained the good of this world and the akhirah. And what are those 4 things? قَلْبٌ شَاكِرٌ وَلِسَانٌ ذَاكِرٌ. His qalb, his heart, should be full of shukr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for all His blessings. And on his tongue, always there is zikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And third, he adopts sabr when overtaken by trials and tribulations. In the face of hardship in this life, then he, or she for that matter, is overtaken by the sabr. And the fourth, that Allah gave him a spouse who's chaste and doesn't abuse the wealth of her husband or her wife. So if one has 4 things, then the Prophet ﷺ said he got the khair of this dunya and the akhirah. Shukr and the dhikr and the sabr and your zawj, who is righteous and chaste and is ameen, is faithful to the possessions of the spouse. So if somebody has it, one should always do the shukr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now how do we express our shukr to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for all His blessings, particularly the Ramadan that we now going through, and we are thanking Allah for His blessing. First is through our tongue. Shukr bil lisan, that we should express to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that, oh our Lord, we express our shukr to you for all your blessings upon us. The second is through our actions, and shukr bil badan wal arkan, and this means that we should show our loyalty and a readiness to serve Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through our ibadat and through our mu'amilat and through our akhlaq. So our whole life should be expressing the shukr to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by serving Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the ibadullah, the people which Allah has created, and the animals and everything what He created. We should be serving them with sincerity and with humility. And third is expressing the shukr through our inner feeling. Shukr bil qalb, that our heart, it should show the thankfulness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for all His ni'mah. So this day, the Jum'atul Wada, is also the day of glorifying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. تسبح له السماوات السبع والأرض ومن فيهن وإن من شيء إلا يسبح بحمده ولكن لا تفقهون تسبيحهم إنه كان حليما غفورا. The seven heavens and the earth and everything therein, they all glorify Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They are praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They do the tasbih of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we should join them in expressing the tasbih of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is also the day that we should do that. And this Ramadan is our honored guest, as Prophet ﷺ told us. And now it is about to leave us. So therefore, we should honor this guest in the last days, particularly the last 9 to 10 days which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us, and especially its nights. We should increase, we should exaggerate and go beyond our limits. Try to honor the Ramadan in these nights and days, as we will share with you. And this is the day we should also feel sad and regret that this month of mercy and rahmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is leaving us. This is the month which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala opened the doors of Jannah and closed the door of Jahannam, and He chained up the shaitan. So now all that will be reversed, and the shaitan is going to be out there in order to get every one of us. This is the promise that he made to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that he is going to take as many as possible with him to the hellfire. Through what? Through attracting them to serve their nafsul lawwat, nafsul ammara, their evil nafs and its desires. That's where the shaitan works through. The love of this dunya, the love of the money, the love of the hawa, the desires, in rebellion to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So now the shaitan will be out there with all its force and all its plan to get everyone as much as possible to his way. So therefore this is also the day of sadness, that we are going to be out of the month of mercy and blessings. And also this is the day of happiness. This is the day of happiness that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed us with such beautiful month, with so many blessings. And therefore we should celebrate, we should be happy, those who have done efforts to benefit from the month of Ramadan. For them particularly, this is the day of celebration. Every day is a day of celebration for the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as He says in the Quran that قُلْ بِفَضْلِ اللَّهِ وَبِرَحْمَتِهِ فَبِذَلِكَ فَلْيَفْرَحُوا هُوَ خَيْرٌ مِمَّا يَجْمَعُونَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us that tell them in the bounty of Allah and in His mercy, in that let them rejoice, let them celebrate. That is better than the wealth they had hoarded, they have gotten. This is Surah Yunus, verse number 59. So the believers, they rejoice the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the forgiveness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They rejoice the decision of Allah to free them from the chains of hellfire. This is the promise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for those who have respected the siyam, who have done the qiyam, who have shown their love for Quran, and they spend days and nights in reciting Quran and reflecting upon the ayat of Quran. They are the one who should genuinely rejoice the days of Ramadan, and particularly the last day of Ramadan, which is going to be probably this coming Thursday. This is also the day of muhasibah, or the accountability. We should hold ourselves accountable before us and see how much effort we made to benefit from the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Or we have been just going around like any other days or the weeks or the months in the year, running after this dunya, running after entertainment, and running after other pleasures of this dunya. Therefore Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu taqullaha wal tanzur nafsum ma qaddamat lighad wattaqullaha innallaha khabirun bima ta'malun. O believers, fear Allah, and let every soul look to what they have sent, their provision for the hereafter. So we should be holding ourselves accountable and see what we have been able to do. Did we fast properly as required? Did we ask the mercy and forgiveness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for our mistakes and shortcomings? Did we do the sincere tawbah from our sins? And did we make intention and niyyah to stay with the spirit of Ramadan for the rest of the year? If we have not, then now there are a few days left that we should do that. This is also the day of planning for the next year, which is coming. Now the spirit of Ramadan, we know it is siyam, it is to hold ourselves from what Allah has forbidden and to do what He has commanded with love and eagerness and also desire to do things which pleases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So therefore we should plan for the coming years that this spirit of Ramadan should continue our relation with Quran, with recitation, memorization, and fahmul Quran. We should continue. It does not end with the Eid al-Fitr. Our salah with congregation in the masjid must continue. We should value the salat which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us as a gift to Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and Mi'raj. This was a gift of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And through this, there are so many blessings which Allah has given to us in everyday life. Inna salat tanha anil fahsha'i wal munkar wa la dhikrullahi akbar. This salat protects us from all kind of indecency, all kind of corruption, and gives us a life of piety and consciousness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So therefore we should protect it. Hafizu ala salawat wa salat al-wusta wa qumu lillahi qanitin. wa qumu lillahi qanitin. And you should protect the salat. Protect it more than any treasure that you may have. Then if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us the ability to perform tahajjud, we should continue for the rest of the year. We should not miss it and give value to tahajjud. This was the way of salihin of this ummah. This was a sunnat mutawatira of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which he never missed all his life. So we should make it a habit to do the tahajjud and qiyam before our salatul fajr. And in addition to that, we must plan for nawafil, optional salah, because there are shortcomings which can happen in our salah, and we should do extra nawafil. This was the way of Prophet ﷺ, that he did the sunan and the nawafil. Some of us may think, well, it's obligatory salah only, which is going to be asked. But yes, this is true. This is the only obligatory salah which is necessary. But then what about if there is a defect? If we were not able to do the right in our salah, it is not accepted. Then these nawafil, these sunan, they are going to help us to compensate. They will help us to raise our position and our grades in the Jannah of Firdaus. In dunya, we always want more and more and more. We are planning to have more profits and we're going to have more account savings and this and that. What about the Jannah? We should be looking for high grades. We should not be satisfied with the bare minimum, and that will require sujood. You remember the hadith that there was a Sahabi Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Rabi'a, and one time he came to Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and he was very sad. So he asked him, why you feel sad? He said, Ya Rasulullah, I don't feel happy unless I see you. I come to the masjid just to look at you and see you and meet you. That brings the pleasure to my heart. But I am worried. I am worried that in Jannah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to give you the highest place in Jannah. And I am a simple Muslim. I have not done that much. If Allah sends me to Jannah with His mercy, probably I'll be at one of the lowest places. And I won't be able to see you. So I want to be close to you in the Jannah. So I'll be able to see Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Oh Rabi'a, you have asked something, and I tell you, we will be there, but help me with sujood, with kasratul sujood, with more and more nawafil, more and more sunan, more sujood you do, you are going to be in the murafiqah, in the closeness to Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in Jannatul Firdaus. So this was Rabi'a radiallahu ta'ala anhu, and he taught us, the more sujood you do, nawafil, tahajjud, and such things, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bless you with the closeness to Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the Jannah. And we must seek the company of the Salihin. We don't have Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam with us in his physical presence, or the Sahaba, or the other Sulaha of the Ummah, Aimma of the Ummah. But we have many righteous Muslims amongst us who are scholars, who are close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We should seek their company. We should travel to go and sit with them, whether it's a convention, a regional conference, or some classes they are giving. We should make effort to be with them. We cannot learn the deen just on our own. We cannot do the ibadah just on our own. We need our scholars. We need our imams. We need our salihin to be with them. And this was the method of the salihin of this ummah. In every time of the history, they would travel long distance just to be with them. There are people who will travel from Spain all the way to Medina and Mecca just to be in the company of the ulama and the scholars. So therefore we should make effort to be with them and get engaged in the da'wah to Islam. This was the method of the salihin, that what we learn we share with others. So these are the things that I like to remind myself and all of us. Again, what are the things that we should plan? The relation with the Quran, the salah with congregation, and tahajjud salah, the salah with nawafil, and optional fasting. The fasting doesn't end at the end of Ramadan. The Prophet ﷺ, he used to fast like Mondays and Thursdays, and the Ayyamul Bid, the 3 days in the middle of the month, and then the 6th fast of Shawwal, and the Ashura, and so on. So we should try to fast as much as we can, and keep up the spirit of Ramadan, and spend in the path of Allah, in infaq fi sabilillah, to help those who are poor and the needy in our families and beyond, and then learn and teach Islam. خيركم من تعلم القرآن وعلمه. The best are those who learn Quran and teach others. So we should be amongst those who are the best of this ummah, and to seek the company of salihin, to be with them, whatever it takes to travel. And these days we know the travel is so easy to do. And then last but not the least is the da'wah ila Allah, calling people to the path of Islam. So we make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ya Rabbul Alameen, Wallahu taqabbal minna siyamana fi Ramadan, wa qiyamana, wa ruku'ana, wa sujudana, bi rahmatika ya arhamar rahimin. Allahumma nazzil al-kitab, مجري الصحاب سريع الحساب هازم الأحزاب اهزم أعداء الإسلام. We make dua that may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help our brothers and sisters who are in distress all over the globe. Allahumma ansur Islam wal Muslimin. Allahumma ansur Islam wal Muslimin fi kulli makan. Allahumma ansur Muslimin في فلسطين وكشمير وبرما وسوريا وعراق وفي كل مكان يا أرحم الراحمين. So may Allah accept our fasting, our ibadat, and help us to keep up the spirit of Ramadan, inshallah, for the rest of the year and also the rest of the days and nights. Ramadan is not over. We still have 5 or 6 days, and we should do our best to take benefit of the nights, because Laylatul Qadr still may be there, coming, and we should spend the odd nights together in the Masjid. Alhamdulillah, last night we have many brothers here awake all night. May Allah accept our qiyam and our staying up, and inshallah help us to find the Laylatul Qadr. Inshallah we'll talk about it more later. Jazakallah khaira wa akhir da'wana alhamdulillah rabbil alameen.